So many people have struggled to get their student visas for fall 2025 this year. Many were rejected for all sort of weird reasons, and then refusal slots never opened up. All this news about social media checks delayed the visa for everyone, and some of them actually could not make it and they had to defer their admission. So if you're one of those few lucky students who got everything done on time, who got their student visas, and you're now heading to US to start your education this fall, big congratulations. It's indeed a feat. But you can't feel relaxed yet, I'm sorry to say, because you will face one more check when you are entering US at the port of entry. There you will have to answer questions by the USCIS officers, and normally this is like just a formality. For example, in my days when I would land at US, we would go through the port of entry immigration process, and they would ask just two or three simple questions like where are you staying, why are you here, and what do you do, etc. You answer them and then you move on. But this year under Trump administration, I'm expecting that these questions can get tricky, and if you are not careful then you can get detained even if you have a valid visa. So this is why I'm putting up this video. I want to cover 11 tricky, intimidating questions that you can get asked at the US port of entry and how to answer these tricky questions. So all these on the other side of this intro. Keep watching. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Nishta from Scholar Strategy and 24 North Star. Let's look at these intimidating questions you can face at the immigration at the airport. Before we begin, here are some quick tips from my side. Number one is to, of course, keep your documents ready. So you will have to have your I-20, your visa, of course, will be there, your service fee receipt, your admission letter from the universities. Just all those documents, the basic ones that you carried for your US visa, do keep them handy with you in your carry-on bag itself so that you can quickly take them out when asked any question. Second is to be calm and polite. I feel like the officers are going to ask provocative questions. They want you to instigate you to for you to lose your calm and say something that they can use to detain you or to cause trouble. And number three is be brief but confident. They are actually testing your confidence also, because if you're stating everything truthfully, then you have no reason to be afraid. So give clear, short answers confidently. That should be enough. Now let's look at specific questions itself. So first tricky question can be, why are you arriving in US so early or so late? For example, if you are entering too much in advance or if you're reaching very last minute, then they can ask you these questions. Here's a tip that know the 30-day rule. So students can enter the US no earlier than 30 days before the start date on the I-20. So you should not be violating that. But a simple answer could be that I'm arriving X days before my program starts on this date to set up housing, attend orientation, and meet some professors on the campus, etc. Second question is, why are you not staying in university housing? And this is tricky because they want to verify that you're not using the student visa to do some other activity, live somewhere else, carry on some other kind of operations. A simple answer could be that I've arranged an off-campus apartment near my university. I have the lease and address with me that looked like the best option possible for me within my budget, etc. Or simple that like on-campus housing was not available in my program. Third question can be, do you know the name of your DSO? This can feel intimidating because many students are not going to memorize this. So DSO is your designated school official. You can find this in your university communication. So I think you should memorize the name of these few key people at your target university, and you can then answer whatever they're asking. They can also ask your advisor's name, etc. So you can, or if you don't know this, you can say, hey, I don't know my advisor's name, is just slipping my mind at this point, but I have already communicated with maybe Professor so and so regarding these things, and I know that my office administrator Barbara helped me coordinate with these things. So just at least drop few names that you remember from your university. By the way, DSO, knowing much about DSO is going to be helpful, as you will see in these answers. For example, if the officer asks you, what will you do if your visa gets revoked or suspended for some reason? So this is the time when you will say things like, I will contact my international office or my DSO and make sure that I'm remaining compliant at all the times. This is going to be a key part of many of your answers. So just know that every university has an international office, and any changes to your visa status or legal status in US, you have to work with them, make sure that you are compliant at all times. And such questions usually they are not asked, but they can ask these questions to make sure that you understand your legal responsibilities as a student in the US. Fifth question is, what will you do if your classes switch to online mode? Now, online only classes may violate some of F1 requirements. So your program is not online. You can give an answer something like, my program is in person, but if classes move online, I will coordinate with my DSO to ensure I remain compliant. So just show that you know that online only classes are not with the F1 visa requirements. Sixth question is, are you carrying cash or stuff for somebody else, or are you carrying over $10,000 in cash or something like that? So again, like, you are not allowed to carry more cash than that. And also you should not be carrying packages or any stuff for anybody else. So you have to clearly state that, no, I'm only carrying personal funds well below the limit and no other items for anybody else. Seventh question is, why are you flying into a city far from your university? This one can get tricky if you're planning to meet a family member first and then they are going to drop you to the university. So my advice would be to enter from airport which is in the vicinity of the university itself, and it's best that your family members come and meet you there rather than you going to someplace else. Why this is tricky? Because they might suspect that you have some undisclosed family in the US or that you have some other plans. So a simple answer could be, I found a cheaper ticket to this city and have a connecting flight to my university city. Here's my onward ticket. In this case, you have to show them the proof or the follow-up ticket. Number 8 is, what will you do if you fail your program or drop out? Now, obviously, as soon as the word dropout or fail is mentioned, it can trigger you, it can make you feel intimidated, and you can start blabbering. So just stay calm. Again, a simple answer could be, my goal is to complete my program successfully. If any issue arises, obviously I'll work with the international office or work with my DSO to understand what I need to do. But as looking at my GRE scores and all these academic scores I have, I'm pretty confident that I'm going to work hard and meet the academic requirements of this program. Number 9 is, do you plan to work while studying? And as we mentioned in F1 visa interviews, you are never supposed to work as a student in the US. So you have to phrase it very clearly, and you have to make it clear that you have no intention of working. And you can include an answer like, no, I understand my F1 visa allows only authorized work like on-campus jobs or OPT and CPT, and I will follow those rules. So I have no other plans to work as a student. Number 10 is, what will you do if you can't find a job during OPT? Again, they are testing you. What are your real intentions and how badly would you want to work in the US, etc. So also they want to confirm that you have no other plans to overstay your legal duration. So in that case, you can say something like, OPT is optional. If I don't find a job, I'll return to India and continue my career there, because I am bullish that this degree would give me a lot of skills that will help me build a good career anywhere in the world. And last question is, who is meeting you at the airport? Now, why is this tricky? They just want to again understand your plans, that you are heading eventually to the university only and that you are coming here as a student only. So you can either say that no one is meeting me, I'm heading to the university straight, or you can say that someone from the Indian Student Association or my senior is here, who will be here to receive me and drive me to the university. So give a safe answer like that. Always include that I am heading to the university, to give them the peace of mind that you are here as a student and have no other plans before or after. So those are some of the questions I suspect will start getting asked, and they can seem scary. But if you are already expecting them, then you will be better prepared to answer them. I hope this was helpful. And of course, keep your paperwork clean and your intent is genuine. You are there to study. So just stick to those things, similar kind of preparation that you did for your F1 visa interview. But the thing is, they catch you off guard at the airport sometimes. You're already tired after such a long flight. So don't let that ruffle you. Take this immigration questions very, very seriously. Practice them and tell me once you're able to enter US successfully. Wish you all the best, and I'll see you guys next week with a fresh new video. Until then, take care. Bye bye.